Good afternoon, everyone. Good leaders don't command, they inspire. They don't demand loyalty, they cultivate trust. Leadership is not about the power you hold, it's about the promise you make to those who choose to follow you. Today, I want to invite you to reframe leadership, to stop thinking about it as a position you hold and start seeing it as a responsibility you embrace. Leadership begins with clarity of purpose. If you don't know why you get out of bed each morning, how can you expect others to care? People don't follow a leader for a paycheck or a title. They follow because they believe in what that leader represents. So I ask you, what is it that drives you? What is the purpose that calls you forward? Define it, because the clarity of your why will shape the strength of your leadership. Leadership begins with understanding the foundation of why you do what you do. It's not just about setting goals or achieving metrics, those are outcomes, not the drivers. True leadership is rooted in clarity of purpose. Without it, actions become scattered, decisions feel aimless, and ultimately people lose their sense of direction. The power of purpose is what sets great leaders apart from average ones. It defines their trajectory and gives them a North Star to follow, even in uncertain times. Clarity of purpose is about more than just knowing the what or the how of your role. It's about deeply understanding the why. Why does your work matter? Why do you choose to show up every day? Why should others rally behind you? Answering these questions creates the foundation for everything else. It allows you to communicate your vision in a way that isn't just transactional but transformational. When you have that clarity, you don't simply issue instructions, you ignite belief. Purpose isn't something you create overnight. It's something you discover by reflecting on your values, your passions, and the impact you want to make. It starts with peeling back the layers of what motivates you, challenging yourself to think beyond superficial rewards, and getting to the heart of what truly matters. That kind of introspection requires humility. You must be willing to face hard questions and embrace honest answers. The process may not be easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. When you're clear on your purpose, people can sense it. Purpose is contagious. It energizes you, and that energy spreads to those around you. People don't want to follow a leader who's only there to tick boxes or chase recognition. They want to follow someone who stands for something bigger than themselves, someone with conviction. Clarity of purpose creates that conviction. It gives you the confidence to take bold steps and make decisions that align with your values, even when they might not be the most popular. Without purpose, leadership becomes fragile. In challenging times, uncertainty can erode confidence and fragment teams. A clear purpose acts as an anchor, keeping you steady when everything else feels uncertain. It allows you to make decisions with integrity because you aren't just reacting to the moment, you're responding with a long-term vision in mind. That steadiness builds trust with your team, as they see that your actions are consistent with your values, even under pressure. Clarity of purpose also sets the tone for your culture. It defines the standards you hold yourself and others to. It shapes the way you communicate, the priorities you set, and the behaviors you model. People take their cues from the top, and when you operate with a clear sense of why, it encourages them to do the same. They begin to see their own work through a larger lens, finding their own sense of purpose in the process. This creates a ripple effect, where your leadership inspires alignment and cohesion throughout the team. The challenge, of course, is that clarity requires consistency. You can't simply articulate your purpose once and expect it to stick. You must live it day in and day out in the decisions you make, the conversations you have, and the way you show up. It requires constant self-awareness and a willingness to revisit your why as circumstances evolve. Purpose is not static, it's dynamic, growing with you as you gain new experiences and face new challenges. Clarity of purpose also demands authenticity. It's not about crafting a catchy slogan or memorizing the perfect mission statement. It's about being real with yourself, real with your team, and real with the world. People can tell when a leader's purpose is genuine and when it's just lip service. Authenticity makes your purpose believable, and believability makes it powerful. It's what gives you the ability to rally people, not because you've convinced them to follow, but because they truly believe in the journey you're taking them on. A leader with clarity of purpose becomes a lighthouse in a sea of uncertainty. They attract others who share their values and inspire confidence in those who might be unsure. Clarity simplifies complexity. It acts as a filter, helping you determine what aligns with your mission and what doesn't. When you know your purpose, you stop chasing every opportunity and start focusing on the ones that matter most. This focus not only enhances your effectiveness, but also strengthens your impact. Trust is the foundation of all great leadership. It's not given automatically just because someone holds a title or possesses expertise. It's something earned through consistent, authentic, and meaningful actions over time. For leaders, trust is the bridge between intention and impact. Without it, even the best strategies can fall apart and the most compelling vision can fail to resonate. Building trust requires a willingness to be vulnerable, to show up as a real and approachable human being, rather than an untouchable figure of authority. Vulnerability in leadership is often misunderstood. Some view it as a sign of weakness, but it's the opposite, it's a sign of strength. When a leader is willing to be vulnerable, it shows their team that they are approachable and relatable, that they don't have all the answers, and that they are open to learning. It dismantles the walls that can often exist between leaders and their teams, creating a culture where collaboration and connection thrive. People are drawn to those who are authentic because it reminds them that imperfection is not a barrier to success but a part of the journey. Being vulnerable doesn't mean sharing every fear or doubt. It means showing enough of yourself to let others in. It means being honest when you don't know the answer and admitting when you've made a mistake. It's about having the courage to say, I need help, or I'm not sure, but I'm willing to work with you to figure this out. Vulnerability fosters trust because it removes the facade that leaders are infallible. It shows that you're willing to be real even when it feels uncomfortable. One of the key aspects of building trust is consistency. People trust what they can predict. And as a leader, your actions must align with your words time and time again. When you make a promise, keep it. When you commit to a value or a principle, live it fully. Consistency doesn't mean perfection, but it does mean striving to be dependable. It means following through even when it's inconvenient or difficult. The smallest broken promise can undermine trust, and the smallest kept one can strengthen it. Your team isn't looking for you to be flawless, they're looking for you to be steadfast. Another critical component of trust is empathy. Great leaders understand that trust is built through connection, and connection requires seeing people as individuals rather than resources. When you take the time to listen, to ask meaningful questions, and to truly hear what someone is saying, you demonstrate that you value them. Empathy is about meeting people where they are and showing that you care about their needs, fears, and aspirations. It's not just about solving their problems, it's about understanding them. When people feel seen and heard, they are more likely to trust your intentions and follow your lead. Trust is also about fairness and integrity. It means treating everyone with respect, regardless of their role or level of contribution. It means making decisions that align with your values and avoiding favoritism or bias. People need to feel that their leaders are principled, and that those principles guide every decision, especially the hard ones. Integrity builds trust, because it shows that you are consistent in both public and private, that what you say and what you do are one and the same. Building trust requires patience. It cannot be rushed or forced, and it often develops incrementally over time. Trust is built in the small, often unnoticed moments of leadership, in a kind word, in showing up consistently, in making decisions with transparency, or in being approachable during challenging times. Conversely, trust can be eroded in an instant through carelessness, dishonesty, or a perceived betrayal. This is why it is essential for leaders to remain self-aware, to reflect on their actions and decisions constantly, and to ensure that they are fostering trust rather than jeopardizing it. Creating a culture of trust also requires accountability. A leader who takes responsibility for their actions and holds themselves to the same standard as they hold others demonstrates credibility. Accountability is not just about admitting when you've made a mistake, it's about actively working to make things right. It's about owning your role in any situation, whether it leads to success or failure. When your team sees that you are willing to stand behind your actions and acknowledge your missteps, they are far more likely to trust your intentions. Courage in leadership is often romanticized as grand, sweeping gestures, but in reality, it is found in the small, deliberate choices that define a leader's character and integrity. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to act in spite of it. For leaders, it means making decisions that may not always be popular, choosing principles over convenience, and stepping into discomfort for the sake of growth and progress. Leadership is rarely smooth or easy. It involves risk, uncertainty, and conflict, and courage is what allows leaders to face those challenges head-on. One of the most difficult yet essential forms of courage for a leader is the courage to embrace vulnerability. Leaders are often placed on a pedestal, expected to have all the answers, and to exude confidence at every turn. But the reality is, no leader is perfect, and pretending to be undermines authenticity. Courage means acknowledging your limitations, admitting when you don't know the answer, and being open to feedback, even if it's critical. It is far more courageous to say, I made a mistake or I need help, than to put on a facade of invincibility. Vulnerability creates connection, and connection begets trust, which is essential for effective leadership. Another critical expression of courage in leadership is the ability to make tough decisions. These are not the decisions that come with a clear right or wrong answer, but those that require balancing competing priorities, considering the long-term consequences, and sometimes choosing the hard road over the easy one. Courage means being willing to make those decisions even when they are uncomfortable, unpopular, or carry a personal cost. It is standing firm in the face of resistance when you believe in the path you have chosen while remaining open to hearing different perspectives and adjusting if necessary. Courage also means embracing change and uncertainty. The world is unpredictable, and the speed of change is often relentless. Great leaders understand that clinging to the status quo out of fear of the unknown only leads to stagnation. They are willing to take calculated risks and to explore new possibilities, even if the outcomes are uncertain. Courage is what allows leaders to challenge the way things have always been done and to pursue innovation, knowing that failure is a possibility. It is not recklessness, but a willingness to push boundaries and expand horizons for the sake of growth and progress. In addition to embracing change, courage requires resilience in the face of failure. Every leader will encounter setbacks, mistakes, and moments of doubt. Courage is about how you respond in those moments. Do you give up, or do you use failure as an opportunity to learn, grow, and come back stronger? Resilience is the fuel that sustains courage, and it is built through a mindset that views challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. When leaders demonstrate resilience, they model it for their teams, showing them that it is possible to navigate adversity and emerge better for it. Courage also manifests in a leader's willingness to advocate for others. This includes standing up for the values and principles that guide them, even when doing so is difficult or unpopular. It means championing fairness and inclusivity, ensuring that everyone on the team feels valued, heard, and respected. Sometimes this requires having uncomfortable conversations, challenging systemic inequities, or calling out behaviors that undermine the team's trust and cohesion. Courage is what drives a leader to create a safe environment where people can bring their best selves to work and to ensure that every voice has the opportunity to be heard. Being a courageous leader also means challenging yourself to grow continually. It takes courage to confront your blind spots, acknowledge areas where you need improvement, and seek out the experiences and knowledge that will help you become better. Personal growth requires stepping into the unknown, questioning your assumptions, and pushing past your comfort zone. Courage fuels this process by allowing you to take the necessary risks involved in evolving as a leader and as a person. Courage in leadership isn't a single trait or moment. It's a habit. It's the daily practice of choosing the harder path, standing by your principles, and taking the actions that align with your purpose and values. It is present in the way you treat others, the example you set, and the decisions you make. Courage allows leaders to inspire others to take risks, to trust in their vision, and to rise to challenges they may not have faced otherwise. When courage is woven into a leader's character, it becomes a source of strength not only for them but for everyone they lead. Leadership is not about wielding power or authority, it is about service. At its core, leadership is a responsibility, not a privilege. It requires a shift in mindset from personal gain to collective impact. True leaders understand that their role is to elevate others, to empower their teams, and to create an environment where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Service is not a passive or secondary component of leadership, it is the foundation upon which everything else is built. A leader's primary task is to serve the people they lead, not the other way around. Service-oriented leadership begins with a genuine commitment to the well-being and growth of others. It means prioritizing the needs of the team over personal ambitions or external recognition. This type of leadership is not about taking credit, but about giving it. It is about focusing on the success of the group and ensuring that everyone has the tools, support, and guidance they need to excel. Leaders who lead with service understand that when the team succeeds, they succeed. They create an environment where collaboration, respect, and mutual support become the norm. Serving as a leader also requires deep empathy. To lead effectively, you must understand the perspectives, needs, and challenges of your team members. Empathy allows leaders to see beyond tasks and objectives to the people behind them. It requires active listening, asking meaningful questions, and being present in conversations. By putting yourself in someone else's shoes, you build stronger connections and foster a sense of trust and belonging. Empathy is not just about solving problems, it is about creating a culture where people feel valued, respected, and understood. Another critical aspect of leadership as service is creating opportunities for growth. A leader's role is not to provide all the answers or to micromanage every decision, but to empower others to discover their potential. This means investing time and energy in mentoring, coaching, and providing constructive feedback. It means celebrating successes, but also encouraging people to take on new challenges and stretch beyond their comfort zones. Serving others involves fostering an environment where failure is seen not as an endpoint, but as a step toward learning and improvement. Leaders who focus on development inspire loyalty, dedication, and a shared sense of purpose. Leading through service also involves setting aside ego. Leadership is not about being the most important person in the room, but about making everyone else feel important. Ego can be one of the biggest barriers to effective leadership because it shifts the focus away from the team and onto the leader. When ego takes over, decisions become more about self-preservation or self-promotion than about what is best for the group. Leaders who prioritize service over ego recognize that their job is not to seek validation, but to uplift those around them. They willingly step back to let others shine and take pride in the accomplishments of the team as a whole. One of the most challenging yet essential components of service-oriented leadership is having the courage to make decisions that benefit others, even at a personal cost. This might mean advocating for someone who has been overlooked, taking responsibility for a team's failure, or speaking up for what is right in the face of resistance. Serving as a leader is not always easy, and it often involves personal sacrifices. But it is precisely these moments that define great leadership, when decisions are guided by integrity and a commitment to the greater good. Service in leadership also means being present and accessible. Leadership is not about sitting at the top of an organizational chart, but about being with the people you lead, understanding their day-to-day experiences and sharing in their challenges and successes. Presence builds trust and shows your team that you are invested in their well-being. It is in the small gestures, checking in, showing appreciation, and offering support that service as a leader comes to life. Being accessible does not mean solving every problem for your team, but being there to guide and support them as they find their own solutions. Leadership as service requires humility. Humility is not about undervaluing yourself. It is about recognizing that leadership is not about you. It is about acknowledging that no leader has all the answers and that success is a collective effort. Humility allows leaders to seek input, to admit when they are wrong, and to learn from others, regardless of their position. It creates a culture where collaboration flourishes and where everyone feels their contributions are valued. A humble leader does not see service as a burden, but as a privilege, recognizing that the greatest impact comes from elevating those around them. Connection is the essence of leadership. Without genuine connection, leadership becomes transactional rather than transformational, and people are left feeling isolated and undervalued. True connection is more than just communication. It is about understanding, empathy, and the creation of relationships that go beyond roles and responsibilities. Leaders who prioritize connection recognize that every individual they work with brings unique perspectives, talents, and aspirations to the table. By fostering an environment of authentic connection, they unlock the full potential of their team. At the heart of connection is the ability to listen. Listening is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools a leader can use to build rapport and trust. It is not just about hearing words, but about understanding the emotions, concerns, and motivations behind them. Active listening requires presence and patience. It means setting aside distractions, resisting the urge to interject, and focusing entirely on the person speaking. When leaders listen deeply, they demonstrate that they value the thoughts and feelings of others, creating a foundation of mutual respect. Connection also requires vulnerability. Leaders who are willing to let their guard down and share their own experiences, both successes and failures, encourage others to do the same. Vulnerability humanizes leadership and creates a sense of shared understanding. It shows that even those in positions of authority are not immune to challenges or doubts. By being open and authentic, leaders foster a culture where people feel safe to express themselves honestly. When individuals feel that they can bring their whole selves to work without fear of judgment, the bonds of connection grow stronger. Empathy is another critical component of connection. To connect with others, leaders must be willing to see the world through their eyes, to understand their struggles and aspirations, and to appreciate their unique perspectives. Empathy is not about solving every problem for someone, but about acknowledging their experience and being present with them in it. Leaders who practice empathy create an atmosphere of understanding and support, which encourages collaboration and strengthens team cohesion. When people feel that their leader genuinely cares about them, they are more likely to trust, respect, and follow that leader. Connection also thrives on recognition. People want to feel seen, heard, and appreciated for their contributions. Leaders who take the time to acknowledge effort and celebrate achievements create an environment where individuals feel valued. Recognition does not have to be elaborate. Even small, thoughtful gestures can have a profound impact. A simple thank you note, a moment of public praise, or a quiet conversation expressing appreciation can reinforce a sense of connection and make people feel their work truly matters. Establishing connection also requires consistency. Relationships are not built in a single moment, but over time through repeated interactions. Consistency means showing up, being present, and following through on commitments. It is about building trust through reliability and authenticity. People are drawn to leaders who are dependable, who align their words with their actions, and who demonstrate care in both large and small ways. A consistent leader fosters a sense of security and stability, which helps strengthen the bonds between them and their team. Another key element of connection is the ability to find common ground. Despite differences in backgrounds, roles, or perspectives, there is always something that unites people: a shared goal, a mutual value, or a collective purpose. Leaders who focus on these commonalities create a sense of unity and belonging within their teams. They demonstrate that while individuals may have unique contributions, everyone is working toward the same broader vision. Finding common ground does not mean ignoring differences, but rather using those differences as a source of strength while emphasizing shared objectives. Connection also involves fostering open communication. Leaders who create spaces where people feel comfortable sharing their ideas, concerns, and feedback build deeper relationships with their teams. Open communication is not just about giving others the opportunity to speak. It is about ensuring that their voices are genuinely heard and their input is valued. Leaders who prioritize open communication promote transparency, reduce misunderstandings, and empower individuals to engage fully. Connection demands intentionality. It is not enough to hope that connections will form on their own. Leaders must take deliberate steps to cultivate them. This might mean scheduling one-on-one check-ins, asking thoughtful questions, or creating team-building opportunities. Intentionality shows that a leader is invested in building relationships, not just for the sake of productivity, but because they truly care about the people they lead. Leadership is ultimately measured by the impact it leaves behind. True leadership is not about personal accolades or immediate results. It is about creating a legacy that endures, a ripple effect that continues to influence and inspire even after a leader has moved on. Impactful leadership focuses on building something greater than oneself. It is about investing in people, ideas, and systems that have the potential to shape the future positively and sustainably. The mark of a great leader is not found in what they achieve alone, but in what they enable others to achieve. Leaders who focus on their legacy prioritize purpose above all else. Purpose gives leadership its direction and meaning. It becomes the guiding star that informs decisions and shapes vision and fuels action. A clear sense of purpose allows leaders to transcend short-term objectives and think about the long-term consequences of their actions. It forces them to ask themselves not just what they are accomplishing, but why it matters. When leaders operate with a purpose greater than personal success, their impact resonates on a deeper and more enduring level. And creating a meaningful impact requires a commitment to empowerment. Great leaders understand that their role is not to make themselves indispensable, but to elevate others. Empowering people involves giving them the tools, confidence, and opportunities to excel. It means trusting them to take ownership of their work and encouraging them to contribute their unique skills and ideas. Leaders who focus on empowerment measure their success not by how much control they exert, but by how independent and capable their teams become. By investing in the growth of others, leaders ensure that their impact extends far beyond their immediate presence. Another critical aspect of impactful leadership is fostering innovation. Leaders who leave a legacy are those who dare to challenge the status quo and encourage others to do the same. They create environments where creativity is celebrated, where experimentation is encouraged, and where failure is seen as a stepping stone to success. These leaders understand that innovation is not just about coming up with new ideas, it is about creating the conditions in which those ideas can thrive. By fostering a culture of innovation, leaders ensure that their organizations remain adaptable and forward-thinking, even in the face of changing circumstances. Impactful leaders are also deeply committed to values. They lead with integrity, ensuring that their actions align with their principles, and they cultivate a culture of accountability and ethical behavior. Values-driven leadership leaves a legacy because it inspires trust, respect, and loyalty. People remember leaders who stand for something, who make decisions based on what is right rather than what is expedient. By consistently demonstrating their commitment to their values, leaders create a foundation of credibility that endures even after they have moved on. Resilience is another hallmark of leadership with lasting impact. The path of leadership is rarely smooth and challenges are inevitable. What sets impactful leaders apart is their ability to navigate adversity without losing sight of their vision or their values. Resilience is not about avoiding setbacks, but about responding to them with determination, creativity, and grace. It is about modeling perseverance for others and demonstrating that challenges can be overcome. Resilient leaders leave a legacy because they teach others how to face difficulties with courage and tenacity. A lasting impact also requires inclusivity. Leaders who prioritize inclusion understand that diversity of thought, background, and experience is a source of strength. They create spaces where every individual feels valued and has the opportunity to contribute. Inclusivity fosters innovation, strengthens collaboration, and builds a sense of belonging that endures. Leaders who embrace inclusivity not only create stronger teams, but also lay the groundwork for a culture that continues to prioritize equity and respect long after they have left. Sustainability is another key component of leadership impact. This means making decisions that consider long-term implications and balancing short-term needs with enduring goals. Leaders who think sustainably are not just concerned with immediate success, they focus on building systems, relationships, and practices that will continue to thrive in their absence. Sustainability is about being mindful of resources, whether those resources are time, energy, or people, and using them wisely. Leaders who think sustainably ensure that their work benefits not just the present, but also future generations. Perhaps most importantly, impactful leadership is about inspiring others to lead. The greatest legacies are not measured in accomplishments, but in the leaders they create. Inspiring leadership involves modeling the qualities you want to see in others, mentoring the next generation, and creating opportunities for them to grow into leaders themselves. It is about planting seeds of potential that will flourish in the future. Leaders who inspire others to lead ensure that their impact is not limited to their own actions, but is multiplied through the contributions of those they have influenced. Leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room or about issuing commands from a place of authority. Instead, leadership is deeply rooted in clarity of vision and purpose. At its core, vision provides the direction for action, and purpose gives those actions meaning. The combination of these two elements creates a powerful force that motivates not just the leader, but also everyone around them. Clarity of vision and purpose is what turns ordinary efforts into extraordinary outcomes, and it is the driving force behind meaningful and sustainable leadership. Having a clear vision means understanding not only where you are going, but also why it matters. It's not just about setting goals, it's about articulating a destination that inspires and energizes others. Vision is a compass that guides decision-making, even in the face of uncertainty or complexity. A leader with a clear vision provides a sense of direction that keeps everyone focused, even when the road ahead is challenging. They are able to look beyond the immediate obstacles and distractions, maintaining an unwavering focus on the bigger picture. However, a vision alone is not enough to drive action. It must be coupled with purpose. Purpose is the deeper why behind the work, a reason that resonates on a personal level for both the leader and their team. A compelling purpose transforms tasks from mere obligations into meaningful pursuits. It connects people to something larger than themselves and creates a sense of shared identity and mission. Leaders who articulate a clear purpose create a sense of unity and passion that motivates people to go above and beyond. For a leader, clarity of vision and purpose begins with self-reflection. Leadership is deeply personal, and effective leaders must first understand their own values, motivations, and goals. What drives them? What do they stand for? What impact do they want to have on the world? Answering these questions is essential because leadership is most effective when it is authentic. A leader who is deeply connected to their own vision and purpose inspires trust and credibility because they lead from a place of genuine conviction. Once a leader has defined their vision and purpose, the next challenge is to communicate it effectively. A vision that stays locked in a leader's mind cannot inspire others. It must be shared in a way that is compelling and accessible. Effective communication requires clarity and consistency. Leaders must be able to articulate their vision in simple terms that resonate with others. It's not about using lofty language or complex strategies. It's about speaking to the heart of what matters and making the vision relatable and tangible. Clarity of vision and purpose is also about alignment. A leader's actions must reflect their stated vision and purpose consistently. Words alone will not inspire loyalty or trust. They must be supported by visible, consistent behavior. When leaders live out their vision and purpose in their daily actions, they set an example that others are inspired to follow. Alignment creates credibility, and credibility is essential for mobilizing people toward a shared goal. Another important aspect of clarity in leadership is adaptability. While vision provides a sense of direction, it must be flexible enough to account for change. Leaders who are too rigid risk losing sight of the evolving needs of their team or organization. Adaptability doesn't mean abandoning the vision. It means being willing to adjust the path while staying true to the overarching purpose. Effective leaders strike a balance between steadfastness and flexibility, ensuring that their vision remains relevant and responsive in a constantly changing environment. Creating clarity of vision and purpose also requires collaboration. Leaders do not exist in isolation, and their vision must resonate with the people they lead. A truly compelling vision is not created in a vacuum. It reflects the shared hopes, dreams, and values of the team or organization. Collaboration ensures that the vision is inclusive and that everyone feels a sense of ownership and connection to it. When people see themselves as part of the vision, their commitment to achieving it becomes deeply personal. To maintain clarity of vision and purpose over time, leaders must continually revisit and reinforce these elements. The day-to-day pressures of work can easily pull attention away from the bigger picture. Great leaders make it a priority to regularly remind themselves and their teams of the vision and purpose that guide their work. They celebrate milestones, reflect on progress, and use setbacks as opportunities to refocus. This continuous reinforcement keeps the vision alive and ensures that it remains a guiding force for everyone involved. Clarity of vision and purpose also involves courage. Defining a compelling vision often requires going against the grain or challenging the status quo. It means being willing to take risks, confront opposition, and make decisions that are not always easy or popular. Purpose-driven leaders understand that staying true to their vision may come with challenges, but they remain steadfast because they are grounded in something larger than themselves. Courage enables leaders to lead with confidence, even when the path is uncertain or difficult. The best leaders understand that leadership is not about maintaining control, but about building trust. Trust is the foundation of every strong relationship, whether personal or professional, and it is the cornerstone of effective leadership. Without trust, collaboration becomes difficult, communication breaks down, and teams lose their sense of purpose. Leadership built on trust fosters an environment where individuals feel safe, supported, and motivated to bring their best selves to their work. Trust empowers people to take risks, innovate, and contribute meaningfully because they know their leader stands behind them. Building trust begins with authenticity. Authentic leaders do not wear masks or pretend to be something they are not. They lead with honesty and integrity, allowing their true selves to shine through in their actions and decisions. This means being open about both strengths and weaknesses and not being afraid to admit when they make mistakes. People are drawn to leaders who are real because authenticity signals that a leader is genuine and trustworthy. When leaders embrace their humanity, they set the tone for others to do the same, creating a culture of openness and mutual respect. Another key component of trust is reliability. Trust is not established through grand gestures, but through consistency over time. A leader who follows through on their commitments, honors their word, and demonstrates reliability earns the confidence of their team. Consistency creates stability and reduces uncertainty, allowing people to focus on their work without worrying about shifting expectations or empty promises. Leaders who consistently act with integrity and uphold their values create an environment where trust thrives. Transparency is also essential to building trust. Leaders who are willing to communicate openly about their intentions, decisions, and thought processes foster a sense of inclusion and understanding within their teams. Transparency does not mean sharing every detail, but providing enough context for people to see the reasoning behind decisions. It involves being honest about challenges, uncertainties, and areas where input is needed. Transparency helps to eliminate ambiguity and creates a culture where information is shared freely rather than hoarded, enabling teams to function more effectively and collaboratively. Empathy is another cornerstone of trust. Leaders who make an effort to understand and connect with their team members on a personal level create bonds of trust that go beyond the surface. Empathy requires active listening and genuine care for others' well-being. It involves recognizing and valuing the unique perspectives and experiences of each individual. By showing empathy, leaders demonstrate that they prioritize the needs and feelings of their team members, reinforcing the belief that they are there to support and uplift, not to dictate or control. Fairness plays a critical role in trust building as well. Leaders who treat everyone equitably, without favoritism or bias, cultivate an environment where individuals feel respected and valued. Fairness means being transparent about expectations, applying rules consistently, and addressing issues objectively. When people know they will be treated with fairness and impartiality, they are more likely to trust their leaders' intentions and decisions. Fairness also extends to providing equal opportunities for growth and recognizing achievements without bias. Communication is another fundamental element of trust. Effective leaders understand that trust is built through honest and open dialogue. This means not only delivering clear and consistent messages, but also actively seeking input from others. Two-way communication reinforces the idea that leadership is a partnership rather than a hierarchy. When people feel heard and their opinions are valued, trust naturally grows. Effective communicators also create safe spaces where difficult conversations can take place, knowing that these moments of honesty strengthen relationships rather than weaken them. Trust is also built through empowerment. Leaders who trust their teams demonstrate this by delegating responsibility, encouraging autonomy, and resisting the urge to micromanage. Empowering people to take ownership of their work sends the message that their leader believes in their capabilities. It fosters a sense of pride and accountability while freeing the leader to focus on strategic vision rather than day-to-day tasks. Empowerment is a powerful way to show trust in action, and in turn, it encourages teams to trust their leaders' guidance and decisions. Vulnerability plays a significant role in establishing trust. Leaders who are willing to show vulnerability by admitting when they do not have all the answers or when they are uncertain create a culture where authenticity is valued. Vulnerability fosters connection, demonstrating that leaders are not infallible but are learning and growing alongside their teams. This openness encourages others to share their own challenges and ideas, creating an atmosphere of mutual support and collaboration. Trust is also about accountability. Leaders who hold themselves accountable for their actions set an example that others are inspired to follow. Accountability demonstrates that the leader is committed to fairness and responsibility, reinforcing trust throughout the organization. When leaders acknowledge their mistakes and take ownership of outcomes, they build credibility and strengthen the foundation of trust with their team. Finally, let's remember this: leadership is about service. The moment you step into a leadership role, it's no longer about you. It's about the people you lead. It's about making decisions not for your comfort, but for their growth. It's about lifting them up, challenging them to be their best, and creating an environment where they feel safe, seen, and supported. So how do you elevate your leadership skills? You lead with purpose. You lead with trust. You lead with courage. And most importantly, you lead with service. People won't remember the targets you hit, the plans you wrote, or the awards you won, but they will remember how you made them feel. They will remember the belief you instilled in them and the doors you opened for them. Elevate your leadership not by trying to stand above others, but by standing beside them. Not by showing them how great you are, but by helping them see how great they can be. That's where real leadership begins. Thank you.